ARESxGOD here, and it's time to talk about the Misfit of Demon King Academy. This episode had two huge bombshells dropped on us. Now, let's get into it and see exactly what happened. We start off with a flashback, and I think this is the farther we've gone in the history of the world. We see Anos going to the human realm at the human capital to invite Canon to his castle to actually have the conversation with them stopping the war. If you remember a few episodes ago, when Anos sacrificed himself to separate all the races. This is the moment where Anos invited Canon to have said conversation. But before they can have a proper conversation, like extending the invitation, they get interrupted by Jerga, who seems to be Canon's mentor or something along those lines. He flies by Canon and instantly attacks Anos. And while he was trying to break Anos's barrier, we found out that Jerga's family was killed by demons, and you can see he's very mad and has a tunnel vision. And thanks to this, Anos says something very interesting, and this is our first huge bombshell right at the beginning of the episode, that Anos's mother was killed by humans. This brings a lot of questions. Was she killed before the war? Like, is she the reason why he became the Demon King of Tyranny? Was she killed during the war? Like, a casualty of war? I honestly don't know. Was she the reason Anos decided to stop the war? So many questions about this. Now, Jerga ignores what Anos says, and this also was my beginning to start suspecting there's something more going on behind the scenes with Anos's mother dying. How Jerga and humans in general started viewing the demon, just villainizing them, seeing them as nothing more just than evil, but meanwhile also ignoring the evil things they have done. Like, you can see the hypocrisy there. Humans just rationalizing everything they're doing in the name of peace. It also says something about the world in general. Now, Jerga also started trying to convince Canon that humans and demons cannot coexist. This also again brings up more suspicions. Maybe it's just me reading too much into it, and his grief is the reason behind all of this, but I don't know. I feel like there's something more with Anos's mother being killed by humans, and Jerga just simply trying to convince Canon that there's no middle ground to be had. Now, Jerga of course gets defeated by Anos, but he's shown only collapsing. I don't know if he actually died, because right after this flashback we see this mysterious voice, which seems to be in a recovery tank of some sorts, says that wants revenge on Anos. Now, I think it might be Jerga. I'm like 99% sure it's Jerga. I think he survived with his encounter with Anos. He's again just simply wanting his revenge driven, but it also might be somebody else completely different. I don't know. I'm gonna say it's Jerga. I'm curious and also hopeful we're gonna get more information about what happened with Anos's mother. Probably also something about his father, because we don't know anything about him. Where was he when all of this was happening? I don't know. Questions and more questions. The beginning of the episode had a lot of stuff going on. Just world building. You gotta give credit to Misfit in general, because sure, it's your power fantasy anime, but I think it has one of the best world building in power fantasy, and probably even in general with what has been going on. This is why it deserves more respect and credit. Now, back in our present at school, we see Misha and Anos walking together to school, and the reason for this is that Misha has been getting cooking lessons from Anos's mother. I think Anos's mother has a lot of plans for them together. Now, they also bump into Sasha, who apparently overslept. And she starts getting jealous seeing them walking to school together. Now, Anos also, being Anos, just being blunt, tells her that he would come to her house and wake her up so they can walk together. And she gets so flustered and honestly just obliterated, for lack of a better term. And I'm really starting to like their interactions. You can see she's half tsundere, but also starting to be more honest with her feelings to herself, but not to Anos. Now, back in the school, like in the actual class, we get a new teacher, Meno Historia, which I'm really starting to like her. And the reason there's a new teacher, you guys remember Emilia now being a half hybrid. I'm curious how she's handling her situation. I'm gonna say not very good, but also makes sense why she's not the teacher anymore. And this new teacher also has an announcement. They're gonna have inter-academy, like an experience exchange with demons going to the human realm and humans coming to the demon realm probably. But before we get into that, I gotta give credit to the new teacher, Meno Historia, because Anos also had a magic 101 moment, so to say, lesson. The differences between human magic and the demon magic, with the demon magic being designed to build the castles, and the human magic being designed to destroy said castles. And he explained it very good, and Meno Historia actually appreciated that. Was happy, cheerful, treated him as a person compared to how Emilia was treating Anos. Just no matter what he did, he wasn't good enough because he wasn't a royal. Like I said, I'm starting to like her a lot. Hopefully we'll get to see more of her and get some of her backstories. Now, back to the Inner Academy classes. There's also gonna be a trip, so to say. They have to reach the human realm. Now, before they go there, Anos and Melhais, the Elder Demon Lord, also have a conversation. And we see that... Am I gonna go into rant about this again? The two Elder Demon Lords, Gaius and Idol, the guys who appear, die, get resurrected. This time they also got resurrected again. I really hope they're gonna become useful at some point, or they're gonna have a purpose or do something meaningful, because all I've seen them do is die, get defeated, and get resurrected. I really hope they're gonna have something to do. Now, we see, like I said, they got resurrected, and Melhai says they have been controlled since 2000 years ago. They don't know who. And apparently Melhai wasn't controlled since 2000 years ago. They don't know why, which is also very suspicious. Why wasn't he controlled? Besides all the other Elder Demon Lords. And we still haven't met 3 of them. Hopefully we're gonna get to meet them soon. And more suspicions because the Hero Academy, the one in the human realm, also has this special class for reincarnated heroes. And back in the past, heroes were known as Great War Heroes. And brings up the question, why are they in peacetime having this class to train soldier or Great War Heroes? A very good question. And they also did everything possible to hide the purpose of that class. More and more suspicions are building up, so to say. Now, after this conversation between Anos and Melhais, Anos has a plan or a meeting, so to say, to train all of them, Lei, Misha, Sasha, and Misa. Now, as for Lei, his problem is that he has to find a way to fight after he loses his sword, because his primary fighting method is with a sword. Now, if he doesn't have a sword, he seems to be completely lost. We see that Misha built a sword for him. After his sword got destroyed by Anos, he didn't know what to do. Sasha simply needs to be more focused, just put her life on the line, get serious. That's her main problem. And Misa needs to find way, a different way to fight, because she's generally weak, but she also has to use that to her advantage, find a different way to approach things. Anos tried to give them a hint to all of them, or a lesson on what they have to work on. And right after this, Anos also let Lei pick a sword from his treasury, so to say. And something curious happened, because Lei picks a sword, Big Shesta, sorry if I'm mispronouncing that, as you guys well know. And that sword is very tricky to use, because it requires immense focus to actually be able to cut something. If you don't put your mind into it, like focus on cutting said thing you wanna cut, it's just gonna be a blunt, useless sword. And apparently, Anos gets a suspicion also. He suspects that Lei might be canon. That kind of makes a lot of sense, honestly. Now, I don't know if Lei is actually canon, but more and more suspicions arise, because Lei also asks Anos if they made a promise, that friend, because the friend was also the one who mastered that sword. Lei picked the same sword, also asked about a promise, with Canon and Anos making their promise. If they ever meet again, they're gonna be friends. And you can see Anos thinking of that promise when Lei said something. I don't know. This also brings more question about who's Lei, what's up with him. Hopefully we're gonna get more answers. Now, after this, the trip to go to the human realm starts. Everybody was making plans, how they're gonna reach there, what they're gonna do. Now, as for Anos's group, they were thinking about something along those lines of taking it like 2 days, going with a specific route, and Anos just comes, don't worry about it, we're gonna be there in 1 second. Boof. They're in the human realm. You can see the capital, Azeshion capital, which also looks very similar to the civilization of the demons. Very peaceful, so to say. And Anos and Sasha have a walk, just checking out the capital. And thanks to this, we get another awesome interaction between them, that Anos again overwhelms Sasha, with him complimenting her, just compliment after compliment, mainly about her eyes. And he's very honest about this, because he says that her eyes are more beautiful than his, and he wasn't lying when he told her a few episodes ago, that he wants her eyes, and she's actually willing to give her her eyes. But they make a promise that if something ever happens to Anos's eyes, she's gonna be the one to protect everybody around him. And she asks something in return, for him not to treat her as a child anymore. Now, their relationship is starting to grow, and she starts to be more honest with her feelings, or admit them more, at least to herself, of course, not to Anos, because that's a long way with her being a tsundere. But like I said, I'm really starting to like their relationship. Now, after this, they finally they reach the academy. They try to go in, Anos just directly opening the door. But they get stopped by this new character, Eleanor Bianca, which seems to be a very nice person, honestly, because after she learns who they are, that they're from the Demon Academy, she listens to them and actually invites them in, telling them to, if they're with her, they're gonna be okay. They go into a library of some sorts to have a conversation, and this is where stuff starts to get more interesting, because apparently to the human history, Canon was the one who killed Anos, and he was also the one who created the walls that separated the races. And Avos Dilhavia is also the name of the demon lord, demon king in the human realm also. How far does this identity theft sort of goes, honestly? Because if the humans are also affected, this says a lot about what has been going on. How far is this? Were the gods also affected? Were the spirits also affected? More and more questions. Now, the reason why they're there is because Anos wants to meet Canon, like his reincarnation, and asks Eleanor if Canon is there. And apparently he is, but not in the way he expected him. Since he had 7 sources, there are different reincarnations of him, like multiple reincarnations. We actually get to meet a few of them. The first one being our serious guy, Ledriano, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing his name. And the second one being Laos, our brash guy, like delinquent looking type of guy. Anos also gets suspicious of them, doesn't believe they're actual Canon's reincarnations. He says that Canon has only 1 actual source and 6 are duds, because he doesn't believe them to actually be real Canon reincarnations. Very suspicious also, again. Adriano also seems to be the leader, because Laos was kind of taking orders or backing down to Ledriano. Laos also attacks Anos, and this was an awesome moment, because he gets defeated by a blink, and thanks to his own words. Anos actually just blinks and stops his attack and pushes him back. And you can see Ledriano telling him, "You got defeated, dude. Back down." Asks Anos and Sasha to retreat. Also, the conversation between Anos and Eleanor was very interesting. Right at the end, after the encounter with the 2 reincarnated canons, Laos and Ledriano. And this is the second bombshell of the episode, which is probably the biggest. Eleanor says that Canon is not there and they're not gonna find him because he was killed by a human. Now this was... wait, what? We also don't get all of the details because they conveniently wind came along and hid what Eleanor was saying. Besides, Canon was killed by a human. He told Anos something more. We don't get to hear what. And that's very frustrating because let me know, let me in, I wanna hear it. But we find out that Canon was killed by humans, murdered by humans. What? Huh? Why? How? Wait. Heroes are revered by humans. Why would a human actually kill Canon, the savior of humanity in this case? This is just too much, and this entire episode with Anos' mother being killed by humans, that mysterious voice which is probably Jerga, and him just being opposed to everything, like coexisting. Maybe somebody found out what Canon did back in the past with Anos. That's probably the reason that Canon got killed. An actual human killed Canon. Like, I don't know what. I think somebody is pulling the strings behind, and I can't place my finger on it. Who's this Avos Dil Helvia? Who's been controlling the Elder Demon Lords? So many questions, especially with this episode. What's the reason for this special reincarnated heroes class that they've been having? A lot of stuff. This episode just opened up, but also closed off a lot of plot points, so to say, because you get more questions the deeper you delve into it. I really hope we're gonna get some big reveal, honestly, at some point. Also, is Lei actually canon, reincarnated as a demon this time? I don't know. So many questions, but also so many awesome things going on. I gotta give so much credit to Misfit for the world building, honestly, because compared to so many series is doing a much better job at world building than it deserves to have done, honestly, because it's a power fantasy anime with an overpowered character, and also goes into the serious stuff like humans villainizing everything and forgetting or ignoring what they've been doing, plot lines with so much stuff going on in the past behind the scenes. This were honestly an awesome series which deserves much more respect. Now, I'm curious what you guys thought about the episode. Let me know down in the comments below. I would love to have a conversation with you guys about this. This is the reason I'm doing the videos, honestly. Oh. Thank you for watching the video. Keep enjoying the Misfit of Demon King Academy, and I'll see you again on the next one. Bye bye.